Alright guys, in this first video we're going to get into a couple key exercises. So the first one is mini band walk. So we're going to do a couple variations here. These bands are from Perform Better. They're just a couple bucks. We've got a green one which is a little lighter resistance, a blue one which is a little more resistance. So starting out, start with the green. I've progressed up to the blue at this point, so to show you that really quick, we're going to go ahead and go band right above the knees. The first variation of this, we're going to take a little bit of a tailbone tuck, lengthen nice and tall through the spine, and then we're going to make these nice side steps. So really quick too, prerequisite, I always want you moving pain-free for this program. So as a general rule, if it hurts, stop and slow the movement down. If slowing it down doesn't take away the pain, then I want you to move into a smaller range of motion if possible on a given exercise. And then if moving into a smaller range of motion isn't effective after slowing it down and then smaller range of motion, then we might just pass on working that direction or working on that drill or with that level of resistance for the day. So going back and off to body weight for that day, totally fine. Doing some breathing exercises probably first, and then coming back to it is great as well. And we'll get into some of the breathing stuff in this video too, so excited for that. So with the side walks, we're just gonna take a little bit of tailbone tuck again, stand long and tall, side stepping out. I wanna do about 12 each direction here. So I'm gonna go down and back a couple times. Might not get all 12 for the sake of the video, but once you're starting out, again with the lighter band, going up around the knees, 12 repetitions to the left, 12 repetitions to the right. We're gonna take a break and then go forward and back. So now I'm just going forward and back, walks. You could also start out with about 10 yards for these. Going forward for 10, back for 10, and that's the first set. Then I want to go into a second set, same exercise. So I'm going to go ahead and go side step. Get my 12 reps to the left, get my 12 reps going back to the right. 12, and then 12 back. So we're strengthening the hips and key stabilizer muscles, glute medius, and the hip. And then we're going to go forward, back walk again, and then coming back. So getting 2 sets of those in, step 1. So that's your mini band side steps and mini band walks, 2 sets of 12 each. From there, we're going to move into a little bit of breathing. So I have this device called a relaxator. We'll post a link in the program so that if you'd like to order one, fantastic. It's a great product. It's an exhalation-based tool that's going to help you balance carbon dioxide and oxygen levels in the body. So if you don't want to get into biochemistry, great. I don't really either for the sake of the video. What we're trying to do though is balance out waste product and nutrients. So if you think about nutrients being too high or too low, and then waste products being too high or too low, when things are out of balance, your brain's not going to get enough oxygen supply, and that's always a problem. So that typically right away increases threat levels and increases stress levels. And then when threat signaling increases, we have an increased potential for a pain response in the body. The brain's really good at sending pain signals on the same pathways that it has in the past. So if you have a previous knee injury, instead of making a lot of metabolic work for itself, the brain's not going to send a random pain signal somewhere where you haven't had an injury before. It's probably going to use your previous injury. The good news about injury and tissue healing is that if you have this really old injury and the pain keeps popping up, a lot of people have these nagging aches and pains and it's from years ago, that's typically indicative that there's some metabolic issues, there's some stress and threat issues that we need to dial back, and breathing practice can be a great way to do that. Tissue damage, typically in the research we see that takes about 12 weeks to heal, and even with a total kind of reconfiguration with scar tissue forming, the max is going to be 2 years. So if you're 2 years out of an injury, or 10 or 15 years, the tissue is healed, you're probably fine, unless there's been a new injury since, but you might just be getting a brain response that's sending pain. It's not necessarily indicative that you have this terrible, awful thing going on. So we're gonna go ahead and go to this high-low breathing with a relaxator. So I started on the lowest level of resistance. There's 5 settings here. If you don't want to spend 20, 30 bucks on a relaxator, totally fine. There's these really cool things called straws, really cheap, really affordable. It's okay to go that route too, so just grab a straw at Target or your local grocery store. And so we're gonna pop this in, put a hand on your stomach, a hand on your chest. What we want to be aware of is where you're breathing into. So we want the diaphragm to expand, and you'll know that's happening if your lower hand or your bottom hand over your belly expands out. So as we practice these, deep breath in, exhale out. I don't know if you can see from that angle, but the first thing to move is my bottom hand here. So I'm trying to breathe into the diaphragm. And then only in the last 20 to 30% of that breath am I allowing the chest to rise up and breathing higher up. A lot of people will breathe right into the chest. The shoulders will lift up. That's indicative of a poor breathing pattern, so we're actually not energy efficient, not metabolically efficient. We're going to overwork a bunch of muscles in the neck and shoulders that can create a lot of neck and shoulder discomfort. So really important that we get breathing dialed in first. The relaxator can be a great tool to do that. So that's high-low breathing, and typically spending like 2 minutes with this can be fantastic. As you improve conditioning and get used to some of the things in this program, if you find that on the lowest setting you can actually use the relaxator during all these exercises, that's fantastic, and I've done that before. And again, we're ensuring that carbon dioxide levels, oxygen levels are getting more balanced. So that's the relaxator. The second breathing drill, in addition to that exhalation focus with a straw or that high-low, that's one. Second one, we're gonna prop your feet up, lay on your back. You can do this for maybe 5 minutes a day. If you don't have 5 minutes, do it for 2. Do what you got and get in what you can, but definitely important to get a breathing practice on a daily basis if you've been having some pain in the knees or any part of your body. So deep breath in. Exhale back out through the mouth, so we're going relaxed. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. This one we've had experience with clients bringing down their blood pressure.